Well, greetings from Americus, and welcome to another Word from the Whelan House. August was quite a month. On the 14th, another earthquake struck Haiti, killing hundreds and destroying thousands of homes. Then Hurricane Ida struck Louisiana, worked its way up north, and did terrible damage in New York and New Jersey. Now, the Fuller Center for Housing is not a disaster relief organization. We build and rehabilitate houses. But when disaster strikes and houses are destroyed, we're called to action. The Fuller Center's house building work began out of a disaster. When Katrina hit 16 years ago, the Fuller Center was in its infancy. We'd set it up to be more of a platform for Millard speaking engagements than a house building organization. But our friend Mac McCarter drove over to Americus to plead with Millard to help in Shreveport. There were a good number of families there who had fled the coastal parishes and wanted to stay in a safer place. We said, let's go. We had a lot of money and really needed some focus. Out of that, the Allendale Project was born, and now 45 new houses stand where nothing but derelict shotgun houses stood before. It was a thoughtful and practical response to the disaster. Now we're looking to help some folks in Haiti, and a similar dynamic is taking shape. We went to Haiti after the 2010 earthquake and learned a great deal about working in that troubled nation. We built over 200 houses in Logan and Guadeloupe, all of which survived this most recent quake. What we lacked, though, was a strong local Fuller Center organization to provide sustainability to those projects. Then we were approached by a young man named Gerald Joseph about starting a project in his hometown of Pignon in the north of the country. Gerald has a great team, understands the mission, and builds some of our nicest looking houses, and he does it affordably. They built 92 houses in a few short years. After the earthquake, Gerald traveled to Lekai, near the epicenter, and we talked with him some about a recovery effort. The problem we faced was the same one we had earlier. We simply didn't have a presence in that part of the country. Then something interesting happened. Gerald started hearing from folks who had roots in Pignon and wanted to return there. They'd been through 2 major earthquakes on that lower peninsula and wanted to move to a safer place. So following our Shreveport model, we'll be doing this true recovery work, but away from the disaster zone, building houses with disaster survivors in Pignon. Another practical response. In the meantime, Hurricane Ida caused great damage on both ends of its trip across the country, in Louisiana on one end and New York, New Jersey on the other. We have a strong presence in both areas, so our response was quick. Our Fuller Center disaster rebuilders, led by Bart Tucker, are on the ground in Hammond, Louisiana, home of the Ginger Ford North Shore Fuller Center, working with AmeriCorps youth, mucking out houses and cleaning up in preparation for the actual recovery work. Up north, our Fuller Center of Greater New York City, under the leadership of Jim Caloran, is doing similar work in neighborhoods there that were flooded by the storm. A house is where a family nurtures and grows. When a house is taken, we feel an obligation to do all that we can to help restore it. And that's what we're doing now in Haiti, in Louisiana, New York, New Jersey area. Of course, we can't do this without support from folks like you. And it's the donations and the volunteer time that make these events possible. Now, if you'd like to learn more about being involved in these projects or just what we're doing, you can check out our website, fullercenter.org. In the meantime, we'll be praying for all those who have suffered so much in these tremendous disasters over the last month and looking for ways to help as many of them as we can. God bless you all.